How's it going, guys? It's Ralph here for Beyond the Huddle. Welcome to this week's altcoin forecast. As always, we're going to do a little very quick recap on Bitcoin, then move on to Ethereum, and maybe even visit some other alts if we have some time. So let's get started. So beginning with Bitcoin, essentially I'm just going to use this Twitter here real quick, and you can see right here that we spoke about yesterday. We had hit the big massive premium from the all-time high. That was somewhere around the 47.3 range all the way up to around 54, 55. And then as we hit it, we then started to form some lower time frame premium. So you can see on a 4-hour, it was a swing high, swing low, came back for a sell, swing high, swing low, came back for a sell. Now, this sell was very important because that was also the weekly open, and that's exactly one of our, I guess, entries if you were to short the market. So obviously you'd flip it for a buy side, and that's a perfect entry right there. As soon as the weekly opens, you go below it, and then you're going to use it as resistance. And then, of course, we're watching out for this current one right here. So swing high, swing low, and I had posted this. We spoke about this in the video. And then now if we go ahead and look at the current time, what's going on in the market, we can see that it actually did end up hitting. Now, when I did it on the video, I didn't quite, I just, plopped it up there. But had I done the actual zone like I was supposed to, a nice little square box right here, rectangular box, so right there, then you would have dinged the very low of the box at 61. But let's keep that there. So that forms our potential swing high, and now we're looking for an impulse leg to come down, break below the daily open, making the daily candle bearish. Remember, really important that we're not looking for longs for two different reasons. We use the weekly open as resistance, and we're below the short-term bearish zone. So this zone right here, as long as we stay bearish or below that, we are short-term bearish. If we were to go above that, then obviously we'd have to switch our bias. But remember, we're short-term bearish only to find some sort of a higher time frame discount. In this case, this purple zone. You can see there's this green oval right there, and then we have the swing low, swing high. If we go on a higher time from here, we can see it quite well. Swing low, swing high. Maybe it stops here, or maybe it comes all the way down to retest what our long-term bullish zone, which is this one. So we're always dealing with two different zones: a short-term bearish and a or bullish, right? So a zone that tells us what our short-term bias is. There you go, and then a zone that tells us what our long-term bias is. So yeah, that's basically it for Bitcoin. And also, just to quickly mention it, we were speaking also about the fact that when looking at the institutions and the asset managers, they had not reduced their shorts, and that was very concerning because there's a reason why they're keeping a large amount of shorts open at the moment, and it's probably because they want to move the market lower for a big discount buy right here. So with that being said, now that we have our bias and we understand what Bitcoin is doing, because that's the one that's going to tell us what the altcoins are likely to do, let's go ahead and take a look at Ethereum. Okay, guys, so I know I just got done saying that we're going to move on to Ethereum and that we're going to keep Bitcoin very short and simple, but I did forget to mention something in yesterday's video. So for those of you that, watch our Tuesday video, you're going to be very happy you saw this, because last week we spoke about something new that I haven't spoken about in this channel before, and it was the margin account. So basically on Bitfinex, we were looking at the derivatives markets and sort of how those were behaving. And remember, we noticed that when we create a net position, the same way we look at the net position in the COT, right? So the COT has longs and it has shorts. When we create a net position by subtracting the longs and the shorts, it tells us that for the past 1, 2, 3, and this is the 4th week, so for the past 3 weeks entering into this week, we have been declining. Now, what has price weirdly been doing for the past 3 weeks? Right, so right here, as the net position was declining, the price was going higher. Now remember, it's funny because in crypto Twitter, people like to look at just the shorts and they'll say, oh, well, price is rallying, the shorts don't matter, and the shorts are dropping, so we're good. But remember what I said last time. What matters more is knowing what the net positioning is doing and knowing why it's being caused, right? So in this specific case, the net position was dropping because no longs were being added into the market. So even if the shorts are low and there are no shorts being added to the market, price can slide higher, but that's not a bullish move. That's what I call a bearish up move, right? Or a bearish impulse leg. The point stands that look what's happening now. For last week, we expected it to continue moving lower. both the longs, we expected them to go lower. We expected the net position to go lower. But the key here was the market wasn't going to drop until the shorts finally started increasing. Now, I bet you sometime next week or something like that, all over Twitter, YouTube, and every other social media, you're going to start seeing people only paying attention to the fact that the shorts were rallying or are rallying. But you definitely could have seen it coming. When you see price go up and it's not being driven by this net position, and it's not being driven by the longs, right? So again, it was going up and it didn't make sense. So what I've been waiting for is, I put an alert here, and I was waiting last week. I was waiting for it to go above the quarterly or the yearly opening. It did not do so, and that explains the little pop higher that we had. But look what's happening now. We hit the monthly open, and we're now starting to go higher. So if we go higher, you guys can look back here, May and June, back in July, and then we can even go back all the way to February. And again, you guys can back test this. You guys can go check it out however you want. But I'm telling you, if these shorts go up and those longs decrease, that is the biggest neon red sign for carnage in this market, and it's not going to be pretty. So there is a difference between the net position moving lower while shorts go higher and longs go higher, okay? That's some sort of a hedging. There's a difference between the net position going lower when the shorts go higher and the longs go lower, okay? So you always want to pay attention to all three to get a full picture on what's going on. And this is very important, again, because we are right at this phase 3 in the market right here, and people are so ecstatic. They're waiting for prices to go higher, and I'm just not seeing that right now based on the COT and based on these margin positions by using the same ideology, the same analysis, the way we sort of look at it on the COT. So yeah, I mean, this thing could blow up. I'm waiting for it. This is the first key. Now we're back above the monthly, right? So if we go on the monthly candle, it's bullish. Now we're waiting for it to go back above the quarterly and above the yearly. If that happens, it's GG, game over. As long as the net position keeps dropping as the shorts are going up, Bitcoin will fall hard. So now that I've put that out of the way, let's move on to Ethereum. And this means that because I took a little bit longer on Bitcoin, we won't actually be talking about any other altcoins except just Ethereum USDT and Ethereum BTC. So let's get to it, guys. Okay, guys, so now that we got that all out of the way, why we believe Bitcoin's going to go lower since it's below the short-term bias level. Remember, it's still long-term bullish. And the second part would be the margin accounts. It's not looking good because the net position is dropping. The longs are dropping. While Bitcoin went higher, they were dropping. Very important to note. And then the shorts, when they finally pick up, we know that the market is likely to go lower at this big premium that we had from the all-time high. So that would set us up perfectly to start looking for bearishness here on Ethereum. So I know that usually I only have short-term and long-term levels for Bitcoin, and that does play a very strong and powerful role in our altcoins, but I think I'm going to start adding them to some of the altcoins here when we start looking at them. So if we do the same thing that we did for Bitcoin on Ethereum, this would be the level, the zone, that gives us our short-term bearishness. So you can see the week started, we were above the zone, and then we started using the same type of premiums that we were doing for Bitcoin. So if we look at this here, we can draw it out. That was our swing high, and then we'll make this red so you can see swing high, swing low. Now I'm not going to draw all the other ones, but swing high, swing low, right back into this supply. So we have this 4-hour supply zone here, and we make this red. So 4-hour supply right below the weekly open. So you can see it kind of tested the weekly open literally as soon as the market opened, and now we have gone lower. So now the idea is it was either going to come all the way back up for another premium, kind of like what Bitcoin just did, or it wasn't, it was just going to roll over. Now again, like I said before, we never know if it's actually going to come back to the premium. So, but if it just happens, that just means that your decision level is an even bigger point in time. And you can see we're below a 3-day open. That's perfect, exactly what you want to see, but you're still above the monthly. So obviously when we fall, if we close on the daily below this red zone, you see right here, so we closed below it yesterday. Look at, same exact thing that Bitcoin did yesterday when it fooled you into thinking that you were going to be a bullish because the daily candle had not closed yet. But the previous one closed bearish. So if we go here on Bitcoin, you can see right here, if you don't mind all the circles and everything, the ovals, you can see that Bitcoin had closed below the red zone. That's our short-term bias, turned bearish, and then it had gone higher, but you see, like, it never went back above it. Same thing here. So now that means as long as we can stay below it, we are going to be targeting this and targeting this. Now, again, the only reason I'm putting these levels here on the altcoins as well is that sometimes they do pump when Bitcoin stays bearish. And I just want you guys to be mindful that there is a way that you could have caught that altcoin. Now, whether I choose to not trade these altcoins because I'm bearish Bitcoin, that's just my prerogative, my decision, my choice, right? If you guys want to go ahead and take a stab at it, that's you know, this is your own trading. I am only merely here showing what I would do when I'm doing basically like a diary of my ideas. So again, as long as we stay above this quarterly and this long-term bullish level, that's exactly what it is. We're long-term bullish. So I would expect a nice little retracement back to maybe this daily demand, which is also the monthly open. So that's what I'm thinking at the moment, guys. And I know I don't have my zone here, but this was also, you can see right here, this is the weekly supply. So if we draw this right here, I think it got pretty close to the equilibrium. If not, it actually hit it. I didn't have it drawn out on this specific chart. And look at this. Yep, so we just missed it. That's our equilibrium. We'll make that yellow. And then this was a premium right here. So that one I definitely know for a fact because I was using it. And look at this. So now we have Bitcoin at the premium from the all-time high. We have Ethereum at the premium from the all-time high. I'm sure most coins are at their premiums as well. If they're not, they're just really weak. Or you could be Sol and you could just be a badass and break all-time highs. So again, once this weekly candle closes, that'll be a very, very big deal, because we might then start to roll down to the monthly open and then to the quarterly open. So that's what we have for Ethereum. Again, just a real quick overview. Let's go move on to Ethereum BTC to see whether it should fall harder than Bitcoin, or whether it should, you know, in case something happens, market goes up, then it'll outperform it to the upside. So let's get to it. Okay, so one thing real quick before I move to Ethereum BTC. When looking at this, what I was talking about for the candle closing is, you see how this one's closing below the level. This one retested it on Bitcoin. It actually happened 2 days ago, not on the current candle. So 2 days ago, this one closed below the level, the short-term bearish level. The level that would turn a short-term bearish, and then this one went right above it. It fooled you into thinking that because you were above it, you were going to be back bullish, and then by the time it closed, it was bearish. So that's the same thing that's happening here. Had you not waited for the daily candle to close, it would have looked like it was going to close above it, and now again it's looking like it's going to close below. So yeah, I just wanted to clear that up because I used the wrong candle earlier. So let's move on to Ethereum BTC, and when we take a look at that, it's getting a little interesting, okay? Because essentially what we had before was a swing high, swing low, and I was saying that we wanted to see this premium hold for bearishness, and that if it broke up to the upside, then we would be outperforming Bitcoin. Now, the interesting part is that we're above the quarterly, and it's very close to current prices. Okay, I mean it's only like 4% away. So if Bitcoin drops and Ethereum drops with it, and we see Ethereum BTC go back below the quarterly, it's absolutely going to bleed out harder than Bitcoin, which kind of makes sense because usually altcoins they fall down further than Bitcoin, and that is going to be a very big deal here. Now, for the time being, we're bouncing off this daily demand, so I guess we can get rid of this, and what we're going to go ahead and say is, if we can go ahead and use this daily demand and then go back above the weekly open. So we have a long road ahead, a 5% move higher almost, just to, you know, make us feel better about this price action here. Because if not, what's going to happen is, much like on Ethereum, it's going to be swing high, swing low. You're just using the premium, and you are going to, you know, fall harder than Bitcoin. Because, again, since we're going to be bearish, we're assuming that the drop is just going to be much harder, much more aggressive. So now, again, we switched our premiums from this swing to now this big, huge swing, so that we can go ahead and get rid of these. And you can even do something like this. You can try to find a lower time frame premium if you want, and that would have been this right here as soon as the weekly candle opened. But it's not a very nice one, so I'm not going to go ahead and mark it out. We can go on a 4-hour and try to find one. But it's not always better to go to a lower time frame. So what we could be experiencing is a short-term move lower in which Ethereum's going to fall harder than Bitcoin when Bitcoin drops, if they do drop. And then what we'll end up seeing is Ethereum BTC maybe peak somewhere around here. So if we copy this, we send it here, and now we draw the fib the other way, we would want to see Ethereum BTC hold somewhere around here. If it doesn't hold somewhere around here, and the reason being is that that's the monthly open. If it doesn't hold somewhere around there, we're in for some trouble. Well, if you're in the market, because obviously we're all flat. Because then it opens up the door for further and further prices, and that just means Ethereum's going to be falling harder and harder compared to Bitcoin. So, you see right here, this is between 7% to 10%. So what that's telling me is that when and if Bitcoin falls, right? If Bitcoin falls to this zone, back to the monthly open, that is a, somewhere around a 7 to 10% move. Ethereum's gonna fall 7 to 10% harder than Bitcoin. Okay, so now you're starting to understand why ETH BTC is so important to look at. Now, like I said before, this quarterly open will become very important because it turns our quarterly candle bearish, obviously, and then it would turn then our monthly candle bearish. Now, again, like I said, if we lose that purple zone, we're looking at some insane prices, and that might just mean that we're not even going to stop at any of our support levels. But before we get too ahead of ourselves and start to think that this is going to happen, a 42% move lower on the ETH BTC cross, again, that would mean it's going to outperform Bitcoin to the downside. It's going to fall harder by 42%. Before we start thinking about that type of stuff, let's take it level by level, day by day, week by week. And for now, we would be looking for this range to hold, assuming the Ethereum Bitcoin cross falls. So, again, for us to be bullish and expect it to fall less than Bitcoin, we want to see it go above the weekly, and want to see this daily demand hold. And for us to think it's going to fall harder by about 7 to 10%, we would want it to see it hit this, and then find some sort of support. So there you have it, guys. I don't want to make this video any longer than it already is. If you found some value in this, make sure to give us a thumbs up, subscribe, share it with some friends and family. And until then, I'll see you guys next Monday. Make sure you to check in our Twitter during the weekend for our COT, our screenshot where we update you guys with the COT. And then maybe I'll start also posting pictures, some more TA analysis following the type of stuff that we talk in our videos. So we'll see on that. But yeah, with that being said, guys, have a great day, and have a great rest of your week.